it go! Help! We'll be stuck here forever!
Do not panic! Do not panic! We are trained professionals! Now stay calm. We are going around the leaf.
Around the leaf? I don't think we can do that.
Oh, nonsense. This is nothing compared to the twig of 93. That's it. That's it. Good. You're doing great. There you go. There you go. Watch my eyes. Don't look away. And here's the line again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Hello. I am
Very good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where and when you're watching us from. My name is Mutathi Wachira Wanyaga, mujino wa mbari ya Karigithi. Na ngwihoka kuma ng'ongo ciothe iria ciumaga huho. Muri thayu, thayu, thayu. Today is a good day, the 18th of April 2024, and we are here for African Kona episode 45. Can you imagine? We are still moving on swiftly. And today we'll be talking about friendship generally. I know the title is Bonded Souls versus Silent Strain, but you're just here to talk about friendship and all that. So today, as usual, I have the lost son, who is Kemani. I can see is back, and the original gangster, the original member, Maino Lushasha. Maybe we can start with Kemani briefly introduce yourself, and then Maina can also, introduce himself.
Thank you, Ashira. I'm indeed the lost son, but I'm glad to be back. So my name is Kimaniwa Mwangina Irimo, and well, today I feel a lot quite happy to be back. It's been quite some time. But it's I've been observing in the shadows, but today the shadows have parted and I've decided to walk into the light. Yeah, and it's good to be back. I hope to have an interesting discussion. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Kimani. Indeed, you have been lost for quite a while now, for almost 4 months, but we are happy to see you back.
Yeah.
And we know that you are wise, and we hope that you'll share your wisdom with us today.
Yes.
I'm also happy to be in these streets once again. I'm very familiar with them. I think every other week this year I've been here. And yeah, we're here to talk about friends, and surprising thing is that we are all friends. So we might just be here to talk about each other. Anyway, I want to inform you guys that Washira Speaks is not just a YouTube channel. We also have an entire catalog of services. For today, we wanted to make you aware of our leadership training service and our training on public speaking. So if you're somewhere, you're a leader, but you feel like things are not working within your organization, you feel like there's some form of strain within your workforce, and you want to learn how to move from that on into what I'll say into a servant form of leadership, a leadership where you become a leader worth following, feel free to reach out to us on any of our social media platforms, and we'll be very glad to give you that service at a very affordable price. So yeah, that's it.
I don't know if Kemani has told people where ametuletea nini from the lost side of this world. I hope we'll see the goodies coming in. Anyway, comments have already started streaming in. I can see somebody by the name Just In Case. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you. Also, we are glad that you're here. Jeff Miner saying leo napambana na Fredbon Congo kwa comment section. I hope Fredbon will join in. And also Just In Case saying good job, guys. Thank you. Now, Collins, this topic, especially when it's talked among African men, sometimes it is not authentic as it can get. Kimani, you are good at definition. Maybe you can tell us. I know it sounds weird, but just tell us, what is a friend? Did you utaongelea acquaintances, friends, or I even hear these days there's friends with benefits, bestie and all that. So Kimani, what is a friend when you talk about friendship? Because you're talking bonded souls and bonded souls. Nini, what does it mean?
I think I can only speak for myself and I can only define a friend. The other definitions I cannot purport to understand whatever it is they mean, especially you who are friends with benefits. I can only speak for myself. So, to me, if I were to define a friend, I would define a friend to be a person who you intentionally seek to be with. There is something that you find in that person. I think it is a person you feel free to talk about literally anything, a person who you gain companion, uh, other kinds of utilitarian benefits. um, but I think the most fundamental definition of a friend is, someone who gives you support. They say a friend in need is a friend indeed. So I think it is someone who you fundamentally gain, or rather offer and gain support. It's not just gaining; it's offering and getting support. Now that kind of support varies. It can be moral. It can be social support. Company human beings are social beings. Yeah. So to me, I think that is the definition of a friend.
Okay. I hear you, Kimani. You are pretending you don't know, but the fact that you don't know shows that you know. I can see Jeff Mine saying, according to the scriptures, a friend is anyone who's in need. Wait, you just stop pretending how you read the scripture. Tell us what side of the scripture that it comes from, and then I can see Kevin Derito saying friends with benefits. Jeff Mine at Anyway, it's okay. So, let me tell you, we were having a conversation the other day with Maina and Jeff, who's in the comment section, and we just happened to talk about this topic of friendship. And that day, we were asking ourselves, Kuhusu, how people who are friends. We were somewhere, and somebody was talking about their friends and how they don't like their friends knowing each other. Everybody to remain on their side of the world, and then that bore another discussion of. That's why we are using versus silence train in the topic. You have a friend, for example, you have not talked in 5 years or in 3 years. Mina, is that a friend? Are you guys friends? Or you just know each other? Or you used to know each other?
I believe he is a friend. Friendship has the power to surpass all that distance and time between you guys. And I was listening to Kimani talk. I didn't hear him make mention of daily interactions. But yeah, he's still a friend. Just that maybe at some point in time you are not able to have that constant communication. But for me, even if you've not talked to them for all of 5 years, nothing changes. No boundary, no bridge has been broken. Yes,
Mhm.
there must be that in daily interaction helps to strengthen the bonds. But to me, failing to talk even for extended periods of time does not make them less of a friend. And maybe I saw something on the comment section. I saw Kevo talking about friends with benefits, and then I thought to myself, if you look at it very keenly, aren't all friends just friends with benefits? Because come to think of it, would you be friends with someone if there was nothing you're getting from the
And why
relationship?
are you friends with somebody who you have not talked with 5 years? What is the benefit there? I don't know. Maybe you tell us what a friend means to you, because I think Kimani, the way you're defining it and mine is different, right? How are you? Okay, minor.
Yeah, a friend to me is someone who you share a mutual form of affection with. In this case, a platonic form of affection. It's someone who you share goals with, someone who you find it easy to express your desires to your what you want to achieve in life. Someone who you are around for some time, and someone who came into your life not by choice, but a lot of times by chance. But someone who I think you can trust again, because to me, friendship also lies in having that trust, and someone who, in your time of need, can come out and help you. Yeah.
Hmm, hmm.
Okay.
Collins, I beg to
Kimani.
differ a little bit about regarding whether someone you've not talked to for 5 years is still your friend. Yes, it is true the bridge might not, some bridges may not have been broken, but I think we can say zimebebwa na maji. I think that if you do not talk to someone for 5 years, you might outlive the utility of the friendship that was there. Because in your definition, a very good definition, by the way, mentions something to do with finding some form of utility in someone. Yeah, even if it is not the sole reason you are friend with that person, there's some form of utility you get from that person. May it be companion, may it be moral support. There's something that you're getting from that person. So within that distance of not communicating within 5 years, I think there is not much utility there, and I think we can say that calling that person a friend, you more of sticking to what was than what is. I think that's what I can say. And I don't know if Washira disagrees or agrees. Washira, do you think if you do not, you stop talking to your friends for 5 years, mtakuwa marafiki bado ama what will happen?
I don't think we're friends. Don't let us talk the truth. Eh? You see the way me I define friendship is kind of different, Kimani.
Mm.
Uh, you see, if you're talking about friendship, sorry for that. uh, I think there is an aspect of for me, 5 years. Come on, I don't think hatujakosana, yes, but we are still okay. But I don't think we are, friends. Like hiyo wenye tuko close hivyo juu. We have not been talking with 5 years. A lot can happen in 2 days. Can you imagine 5 years, Kimani? So the person you knew is very different. I can imagine myself 5 years ago is when I was joining, I think, campus. And I think I've really metamorphosized from the person that I am today. So maybe the friends, ule wako, the Washira that you knew 5 years ago, is not the Washira that is present. The world has showed me things. So it doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not saying that it will make us. And let me be authentic, kiasi. Let me just be real. Kemani, you meet some of your friends, Mulisoma, now high school, right? You are high school. I think we were in high school sometime back, almost 6 years ago.
Mm.
And you see, you meet and then you say hi, and then it is very interesting for the first 2 minutes, the conversation, who went where, nani alienda wapi, and then it becomes awkward because now there is no there is no conversation, there is no similarity, because that's what keeps friendship going, according to me. It is my opinion. Okay, so for me, I really also kind of agree with you, Kiomani, that and disagree with Minor in some extent. That maybe the way he defines friendship is different, but for me, I think friendship is a really strong and strong bond. It's a very serious relationship, actually. So I cannot imagine if you are married to somebody for 5 years and you have not been talking for 5 years, you will have as well divorced each other, right? So, or separated. So I think it is the same thing if I'm using the same the psychology and definition. Yeah. So you don't even know each other at that particular point, 5 years, especially in the period that we are living in, the times of our lives right now. Between the age of people who are between, I think, 18 all the way to 30 or 35, a lot really is happening. So 1 month can really change a person. So I think I differ, Kimani. I think I differ with that. So Collins, I know you might want to say something, but there is some comments coming in. Allow me to read them. Peter Moridi is saying, give Kenyans what they want to hear. Instead of friendship, it would have been more exciting if the title and the topic of conversation was, who is a friend with benefit? You know your audience. And he says, glad to be here. Thank you, Peter, for that. I really appreciate that. Actually, let me work on that as we speak. As Colin tells us about mambo ya long distance, because this long distance friendship, I read somewhere that sometimes it's good to have long distance friendship. Let me get away from topic. Yeah, long time. Okay, is it long time? You have not talked to somebody for 5 years. How do you call it? So the long distance one, call it. I heard somewhere that it is good to have a long distance kind of friend. No, I'm not talking about marriage, friend. Why? Because sometimes when you go to visit them, it's like a getaway. It's like takes time to go somewhere and relax. I don't know what you think about that, Mine.
I find it funny that you compared marriage to friendship because in my books those two are very different things. At some point in time, the friendship is not enough to sustain the marriage. But yeah, from my point of view, it's not to say that friends should not communicate daily. It says that I think that nothing much changes for me despite those long periods of not communicating. Because to me, what holds us together is not what we talk about daily, but it's that something that I saw in you before we even initiated the friendship. So if at all that thing has not changed, I see no point in saying that this person is not my friend. And I'm trying to think of it from your points of view. From your points of view, your friendships might be very seasonal because you realize that uh, for example, in high school, a lot of people are your friends because you interacted with them at that point in time. It was easy for you to communicate with them at that point in time. So, does it mean that for you, after coming out of high school, these people who I'm sure you don't communicate with them as much become less of friends than they were during that time? Think of it in terms of being in campus. Obviously, you interacted a lot during your 4 years or 5 years in campus. But then when you come out from campus, these interactions will reach a certain point in time where they not be as much as they used to. So does it mean that these people now become less of your friends than they were before because maybe there's not that constant communication? Also think of it in terms of life. We don't know where we might end up in life. Say Kimani ends up in another corner of the world, say in Australia. So him communicating with you or Shira becomes something difficult because of things to do with time zones. To me, that is not supposed to make your friendship any less of what it was. If at all the bond you shared at the beginning was something worthwhile, nothing changes despite that long period of time without communicating.
Lakini sasa, how do you know that bond exists?
They're not communicating in the first place.
How
Eh?
do you know that bond exists? It's not practical. How do
I
you know
said,
if
I
there
said
is a bond there? And then,
that bond for me existed
eh,
at the point of deciding this person wants to be my friend or is capable of
okay,
being my friend.
look at
It's
that.
not,
Look at that minor. That bond existed when you guys were friends, some time back. And you have said you can be quite a lot. Okay, you have said there's something that you liked about them initially, right? The friend. What if something has changed and they are not the same, or something has happened to them and they are not the same that you knew? Whatever you are befriending is different. I'm looking at that also. For long distance, I understand. That makes sense because in this world, there are so many ways for you to communicate with friends who are very far, right? And there's always ways and you're not talking daily, obviously. But for the time one, the time one is what I'm still, uh, wondering.
yeah, I'm trying to think of it realistically because life is not as simple as you'd want to put it. It's not every time in life that every other week you'll find an opportunity to talk to your friends. And for me, uh, what happens in between, I think I learn to question it after we've talked. So I'll not
Not every week, Collins, but every 5 years. Some how
you
long is long? Like 5 years, 2 years, 10.
it's like you're saying like 5 years is the standard up to which a friendship should no longer be a friendship. But to
Uh,
me, I'm talking of any extended period of time, be it a month, a year, 2 months, 3 months. I don't think that if I was friends with someone, even after 50 years and we not talk for 50 years, that if they came back, I'll not consider them my friend. That extended period of time to me changes nothing.
okay.
I get that, Collins, but I think that there's a point you're missing. I think friendship have an aspect of utility, and they also have an aspect of intentionality. We talk about utility; it is the things that we have agreed you acquire and give to friends. Yeah, that exchange that you have, regardless of how you communicate and how you interact. But when it comes to intentionality, I've heard Washira say at some point that friends are the family you choose, and my emphasis is on that choosing. Yeah, I believe being friends with a person is an intentional decision. When I say waking up every day and choosing to be that person's friend might seem as if you are tolerating that person, but it simply shows the intentionality. Yeah, an intentionality to be a friend to that person. Yeah. So if at all 1 month, 3 months, a whole year, 5 years have passed and you've not had any intentionality to communicate to that friend, I think we can conclusively say your
Yeah.
friendship has outlived its first point. It has outlived its utility.
Kemani,
Mm.
I'm even looking at it this way. I believe. many people don't like responsibility.
Mm.
Responsibility, especially us men, in the African setup. And then people don't look at friendships as also something that is you are accountable, right? So tell me, Collins, why you call yourself a friend to someone and you finish like 2 years just because there's nothing bad there we have happened, but I'm just following Kemani's thought here. You have not even been intentional enough to just even know. Okay, they have not talked to you, but have you, like talked to them? Have you, because it's also a two-way traffic, right? So I'm also looking at it that way. Are you accountable enough to? If you're a friend, then you should be accountable. And I think an extended, let me use your terms, an extended period of time can be really lack of you not wanting to be accountable, like lack of you not wanting to just be a good friend. In my
First,
words,
to me, friendship is not transactional. It's not utilitarian. This bond is not because you can gain something from someone. This bond is something that you find yourself having, despite the fact that you gain something from them. So to me, that utilitarianism does not come
really.
first. That bond comes first. So yeah, even if I'm not getting something from them, I believe you're still friends. And then I want you to look at it realistically. That's why I gave an example of high school. You came out of high school, sometimes you're talking to your friends daily, and then the day goes to a month, the month goes to 2 months, the 3 months goes to 4, 5, 6. And then you find that I've not talked to this person for an entire year. So does it mean now that because I've not talked to them for an entire year, and that's just a cycle of life, things keep changing. I know if I were to ask you how many friends of yours from high school you still talk to, it will be very few. But if I were to ask you how
I
many of
think
those
I think
people
our
are still,
difference, my difference with you, mine, is how we define friendship. Eh?
Friendship. Yes, yes, yes,
You
yes.
whatever you're talking about acquaintances.
Yes,
To me,
I'm
that is
seeing, Bashira, I'm seeing, I think Peter Muridi here saying, talking about
yeah.
300
Let me read
of his
that.
friends.
Kemani, let me just put that on the screen. Let me start first with Wamboyo Irimo saying friendship can last despite long periods without communication. Life often leads people in different directions. Okay, and she says that genuine friendship can endure time and distance. And now Peter Morelli says this: among 3K comrades from my cohort, I am in contact with more than 300 of the friends I made in campus. Wow. Well, we don't talk every day, but we all brought together by our welfare scheme. Okay, that's interesting. So, uh-huh. And he says, so we do contribution every time one of us is bereaved. So we are not necessarily friends, but we are brought together by this welfare platform, which I personally championed and pioneered. And he says, apart from the 300, there are 15 of us who are very close. We have an investment group which has a net worth of close to 5 million Kenya shillings. So I think it's all about pulling uh, close to you those who are meaningful. And then Susan J here. Well, boy, is here. I personally think that generally we have lots of friends, but few close friends. Okay, so Kemani, now which one are you talking about? Which
Yes,
comment?
I was pointing out Peter Muridi's comment about having 300 friends, and I would want to sit with him and that he can explain to me how he has 300 friends. I was saying that to say this, it is in the definition of who is a friend, because having 300 friends within my definition of a friend is practically impossible. But also he kind of recognizes that and mentions that
Yeah,
there are 15 of them who
yeah.
are very close. I think now that fits the definition of a friendship that we're talking about here. But maybe Morevi's and Miner's definition of a friend kind of marries, such that they can endure. If at all you're having 300 friends, then I don't expect you to talk. Hata ukianza kuongea na mmoja leo,
You cannot
you
finish. Yeah.
don't kuongea na yeye
Yeah.
after on the day 301,
Mhm.
So
I
I
think
was just
he has made it clear Palechini when he talked about the 15 guys, because he said the 300 guys are being brought together from what he pioneered and himself. They are brought together by this welfare,
mm,
and that now also brings us to how we define friendships and how do we define relationships in general? Because I think, as I was sharing with you guys, Minor, for me, what Minor is talking about as friends are acquaintances. Okay, that is what I don't know if he has ever gone through, those different kinds of, so
They say
for the
they
friendships, I
say
think for me it's something different from how he's describing it, because if somebody is really a friend, an extended long period of time, how do you even know they are not okay? And then you're just saying it is life cycle. It's one day which turns to 1 month. How that is somebody who you just know.
they
Anyway,
say to to each his own. So your definition of friendship suffices for you. Mine
Yeah,
suffices for me.
yeah,
But it's very easy to describe these things using words, but once it comes into practice, it becomes very, very hard. That's why
mm,
you can see someone talking about having 300 friends, and to me, something that is worth much more than that time is someone who can stick out for me in times of trouble. We might
yeah,
not have talked for those 5 years, 10 years, but if that
mm,
someone is able to help me and helps me in a time of trouble, that is what defines friendship for me. It's not that
mm.
constant interaction, because you can interact with people daily, every hour, after every 2 days, but once you get into need, or once your situation becomes dire, you find out very few of them will come out to help me. So to
It
me,
seems, Minor,
I
you
think,
have some experience in that.
no, what sticks out, or what stands out, it's not that constant interaction, but it's just that someone who will be there for you no matter
Mm.
what, no matter the time,
But
no matter the
what is
distance.
this being there for you? I think we can also ask ourselves that. So you're going with a biblical one, a friend in need. Ile yenye Jeff was alluding, it's biblical. I don't know which part of the Bible that is. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Let me give you an example. These days, on the news, or through social media, you hear of cases of someone who is sick and needs
Mm,
medical attention or help. And this
mm,
someone, if you look at the image portrayed by them or their friends, it looks like they are someone who has a lot of friends. But
mhm,
when it gets down to now helping the person, very few of
mm.
these people actually show up. You find that that person who they've not interacted with that much, but values the bond they've created, is the one who sticks out and stands out for them. So that's why I say, to me, it's much more than just constant interaction.
mm,
Yeah, thank you, Mina. Kimani, before you come in, I can see Peter Morevi has answered you, and he has said that I was a student leader. Uh, so I'm a friend to many, but few are my friends. Hey, sir, senior. Few are my friends. That is
important
exactly Kimani.
distinction.
He was a student leader in the University of Nairobi. So, what was the university
Mm,
may know him.
mm.
Yeah, Kimani?
Yes, I'm liking the way he has chosen to distinguish between um, a lot of people, seeing him as a friend and him being a friend to few. I don't, he says, so I'm a friend to many, but few are my friends. Yeah, it is interesting. I think he's alluding to friendship having, what can we call it? We might say. It's an unpolar sense, such that you can be a friend to someone and they're not a friend to you, which brings me to the point I wanted to raise. Can is it possible for someone to walk out of a friendship, not because it has become toxic, yeah, but simply because that friendship is no longer necessary? I'm avoiding to say it has outlived its utility, because Collins is saying friendships are not utilitarian, but I believe they are. It's just that you do not want to agree to that. I think if I might throw in a radical
Kemani,
idea.
Maina has no friends with the benefits. I think that's what he's saying.
If I were to throw in a radical idea, I think that those people we want to call friends that we have not talked to for 5 years, I think we just lack the courage to recognize that that friendship has lived its purpose and it is time to move on. Yeah, because you, we go through high school, tunamaliza tunatoka tunaenda, we go through campus, tunamaliza tunaenda, and through those periods we make friends, we have some good times, but the truth is, those not everything is permanent. Yeah. So if a friendship, I think I want to say that a friendship can outlive its purpose, and when it outlives its purpose, I think it is okay for you to walk out of it, not to walk out of it because you're discarding it, but to walk out of it because it has served its purpose. It has served its purpose in space and time. Yeah, and you've reached at the end, and do not drag those strings through the mud trying to reach for something that that an illusion that I was saying, whatever was, uh, alluding it to whatever is. That's a point I wanted to raise. I don't know what Collins might say to that about friendship outliving their purpose. Yeah.
It's a very, very interesting question because if we lived life that way, all our friendships will be seasonal or very not very permanent because life changes. At this point in time, maybe Kimani, all you want in life is a wife. So maybe at this point in time, I were to be able to guide you to that wife, I'll be your friend. But after a few months, maybe you'll need something else. You'll need a child. For that, I can't help you. So to me, it's not seasonal. It depends on the bond that was created when you first interact with these guys. So yeah, that what you want from them at that point in time might have been fulfilled, but I don't believe that is supposed to make them any less of your friends than they were before. And I think Oshira also shares the same thoughts with you because sometimes we are walking on the road and then I tell you, ndio hiyo rafiki yako, ananiambia nani? Ambia, that's just someone I know. Maybe for you guys, once that time passes, or once that point in time where you can gain something from that person or where your interactions that person stop, your friendship cease to exist. But for me, it doesn't. It goes
You
above
see,
and
I
beyond.
think for you, Minor, not everybody you just talk on the road is apparently your friend. You see, you I think you define somebody you just talk with huyo rafiki yako. You see, you just anybody you talk with or happen to talk or meet with, according to me, they are not your friends. There's somebody who you just know. So, because I want to bring a sort of a merger between your minus thoughts and Kemani's thoughts. I am not saying that if now you are, maybe let's go back to high school a long time. If you had a friend in high school and your distance and time really put you different sides, it doesn't mean you are enemies. You see, Collins, I'm not saying just because one is not this, it doesn't mean he's definitely the other. Just because he's not a friend doesn't mean he's an enemy. What I'm saying is that then they are not really friends. They are, I think, they are acquaintances. You're not enemies. You talk, you meet, you do this. You have some time. You meet here and there. You have conversations, blah blah blah. Talk on phone, but hiyo friendship yenye tunasema ya kusaidiana, the one that you're saying, that somebody who comes for you, how will they even know this is the time for them to come for you, because come through for you, because I also have some friends, and this is my definition of friends, who we are friends in high school and we are still friends even up to date. They went to different universities, but I think that interaction, maybe once in 3 months or 2 months, we still are very good friends. You see, but I think we have had an intentional sort of, uh, relationship, that your intention in knowing what is going on and how the other person is doing, because that's, I think, the whole purpose of a friend, to like sort of be there. And how do you be there if you don't know what is happening, or you want them to tell you now it's time to come and help me, which also sometimes is very hard for people to do. I can see Jeff Miner has sent in a comment akisema, men limit their friendship. The three of you are friends. Have you ever told each other you miss each other, or it's kyodo natural? Okay, so let us move on with this conversation. Before even we answer Jeff, there was this mambo ya bestie. I think you guys know what I mean by that. And I want to start with you, Kimani. Tell me whether you can be I'm not saying friends, but best friend. Okay, let us even talk of this now, best friendships. We hear this best friendship because the way we are defining things is different. I can hear now, maybe Collins will explain best friends differently. Because for me, what is he has been calling, what I'm calling best friends is what he's calling friends, according to what he's explaining. And what he's calling friends, me, I'm calling acquaintances. So maybe let us just dive in history, bestie kwanza. We understand what is this best friends, and then in the process you tell me, if at all, the difference, what is the difference minor between friends and best friends, and then you tell me whether this best friend can be bestie. Can you be best friends with the person from the opposite sex? Okay, I don't want to say, I don't know the people who you get it. I don't want to say that. Yeah. So, Kimani, I don't know if I start with you or Minor.
I think I can go first. I think you simply asking me to define what I might think bestie is. I had seen Peter. I think it was Peter Barewe. He was talking about. He was saying that we should talk about that, about friends with benefits, and in answering that, I first have to go back to the fundamental point that I had raised. Having the courage to define friendship in a in a very clear way. Yeah. Stating exactly whatever it is you want, not having trouble saying this is my acquaintance, this is my colleague, this is my friend. Yeah. So if, according to me, yeah, people who those typical best friend kind of stuff, which ideally is friendship between people of the opposite gender, at least here in Kenya anyway, who also happen not to be in a platonic relationship. Yeah.
Wait, Kwanza Kimani, speaking of
Yes.
Peter Morelli, I've actually changed the topic. I've changed the topic to friends and benefits. I want to say it is friends and benefits, not friends with.
We benefits. Yeah, all friends by nature are friends with benefit. Yeah, saying that strictly from a point of from a in some ways from a baseline point of view. Yeah,
Logic.
but yes, if we go to now that direction, whichever it is that he's heading us towards, which is friends with benefit, yeah, which is what I was describing, people of different genders having a not platonic. It's kind of platonic, but it has an extension which is not platonic. I think those people simply lack the courage to recognize that. Whatever it is they share is they simply lack the courage to recognize they are in a relationship, a typical one. Yeah,
Okay,
what
okay,
describes
Kimani.
things.
So, hey, slow down. Slow
Eh,
down. Let us have
yes,
some courage and
yes.
answer before even we get to the opposite sex best friendships. I want you to tell me if there is a difference, even let's say normal, even like just platonic, whether there is a difference between friends and best friends. Where do we, showcase the difference? And then now sasa utuambie sasa hiyo ya bestie.
Oh, anyway, friends, of course, I will lean to my own definition of a friend, which is very close knit. Yeah, it does not include all Toms and Harrys and the other one. It is close knit. Yeah, it is a group of people who, first of all, we share a common ideology, a common school of thought, and there is also that utilitarian side, which is it's not the sole reason we are friends, but um, it is part of it. Yeah. And within that close knit group of friends, there is that one friend who I am most predisposed to be open to. Yeah. So I think if you insist that I define a best friend, then I might say that very close friend among that close knit group of friends, I would call them a best friend. Yeah. And then the others, maybe two or three, or maybe even one. Yeah, they fall now within the category of friends. Now that is at least by definition of friends. Yeah,
Okay,
of
so
the
hii
best.
ingine ya bestie tuseme US make hiyo.
Yes, they simply lack the courage to recognize that they are, according to me at least, yeah, they simply lack the courage to recognize that they are in a relationship. They want to abscond responsibilities, yeah, because they believe dating has a sort of responsibility. Yeah, it is simply a lack of courage, according to me at least.
Okay, lack of courage. Haya, Minor Lushasha. I don't know if you have gotten my questions quite well. First of all, you tell me what is the best friend, and then you tell us what is the difference between friends, just friends, and best friends. and then you tell me if hii mambo ya bestie hii yenye Kimani, those people who have lacked courage according to Kimani Esquire and Sons, if it is possible.
Yeah. I think what separates for me a best friend from a normal friend is first of all the level of trust I have in that person. Because for me, I find it very difficult to trust people. So a best friend is someone who has proven to me that they are worth my trust, and it's someone who I am very sure that at a time of need they would 100% of the time come to my rescue, and I as well at that point in time that they need something, I will without thinking twice come to their rescue. So that is very briefly what I think when I think of friend and best friend, that level of trust and being sure that they'll stand
Okay.
out for me no matter what.
Allow me to ask you a question ukiendeleanga. I want to go back to ile yako ya miaka tano. Let me use miaka tano, no offense. Can that person be this, best friend?
I can't be my best friend because even for that trust to be there, it has to be it's built, and it cannot
Now I
be built.
understand now. Now you are now making sense in my
It
language.
can't be built in their absence. So they're still my friends, but I do not consider them my best friend.
Okay.
And then the issue with bestie, there was a story we were reading in high school. I think it was Damu Nyeusi. And then somewhere within the story, the, the writer tells us that there were two, Amani and Imani, I think, and that they used to sleep in the same room, and they used to change, and while this other one is changing clothes, this other one faces the other side. Maybe in our naivety, we would have thought that to be true. But having lived life and having seen how life is, bestie is impossible. It's just what Kimani has said. It's escaping responsibility. Because we live in an era where people want the benefits, in this case, sexual without the commitment. So uh, it's close to impossible to be best friends with someone of the opposite gender. And we were having this discussion the other day, and I want to ask you, Kimani, if at this point in time you heard that your mom has a bestie of the other gender, it will not sit right, because that in and of itself looks very, very weird. It looks like it's out of place. So yeah, males and females can be friends, but that point of best friend, I don't think it's possible. It's just lying to ourselves of something that does not, will never exist.
So your wife cannot be your best friend.
I said friendship and marriage at some point. At some point in time, you that's a tough question. But when we're describing friendships, we describe friendships platonically. I don't believe your wife can be someone you share a platonic relationship with. At some point in time, that platonic relationship has to transition into one that's romantic.
So
So your
they
wife,
cannot, the platonic and romantic relationship cannot exist in the same bracket. Okay, Tawa. Or can your sister then, Collins, be your
yeah,
friend?
yeah,
Or
and also,
okay. What I'm getting is this: anybody who you have the ability to have, sex with cannot be your friend.
Not friend, according to Collins, best friend.
you know,
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, I get it. Hey, Kimani, courage.
yeah, they're your friend, but sometimes friendship enough is not, it's not enough to sustain that romantic relationship, because romantic relationships demand a lot from someone as compared to these platonic relationships. Like Imani is my friend, but he'll not come to my house at 8 p.m. and tell me where are you coming from. Kimani is my friend, but he'll not tell me how many children do you want to have with how many children do I want to have. So romantic and platonic relationships, there's a difference between the two, and I don't think it will be fair to have that direct comparison between the two.
Okay. So I see what disturbs Mina here. Mina is disturbed by how many children he want to have, and then being asked ametoka wapi. Why should you have a problem? You just answer where you are coming from. It is you're not coming from space.
Yeah. I get you, but you know that there are some things that happen in a relationship that are specifically for that romantic relationship, and there's some things that happen in a friendship that are specifically for that platonic relationship. They are two very different entities, because sometimes you hear that these people are friends, yes, but their marriage has failed. Meaning, marriage is not all about friendship. There is something more beyond that
Yeah,
friendship.
it's more of the benefit side. Kimani, tell him he should have the courage to say that. We are talking about courage today. So, Minor, Kimani, I don't know if you have any reactions to that.
I completely agree with Collins on this one. I think it is quite difficult for someone's wife, or rather, let me say spouse, to also be their best friend. But my agreeing with Collins is I'll give a rather different um, definition, another reason why I'm saying that. You see, if you check friendships, at least with my friends, there is a lot of honesty. There's a lot of honesty, not exactly. Okay, there's a lot of honesty and being free in saying whatever it is that you want and pointing out things that you should. Yeah. For instance, if Washira patana na wewe ukiwa something weird, eh? I'll tell you to your face, nini umevaa wewe, yeah. There is a lot of directness in addressing conflict. There's a lot of uh, uh, directness in addressing other kinds of issues, which I think is a point that misses in romantic relationships. Yeah, from what I've observed, at least in others, there's some sort of restraint because to speak with more courage.
Mm, mm.
You know, ideal friendship, for instance, my friendship with you guys, is based on logic and common sense. Yeah. But we go to romantic friendships, I think they lack some sort of kuna kujengana kwanga hapo hivi use those words. It is not exactly guided by common sense. Yeah, there is a lot of kujifichana, sometimes being too careful about what you say to the next person because you do not want to hurt their feelings. Yeah, but when you come to this other kind of friendship, in as much as yes, you might not want to hurt that other person's feelings, there are things you simply have to say to them right to their faces so that they can change and move on, because you're not saying from a point of malice, you're saying from a point of helping that person come up. But those two cannot coexist at the same time. You cannot walk
Okay.
in and tell your wife that, hey, mbona unakaa mchafu leo wewe. That will kick in at a very different angle.
You see, Minor does not want to be asked questions. Minor, I don't know if Minor you can be able to tell your friend hiyo ni nguo that is not a good cloth, or leo hiyo bechoma. Can you be able to do that?
Yeah, you always find a way of subtly saying it, not directly, but somewhere within a joke. Unaweza sema unapata mtu amevaa sijui aje.
But
So somewhere
you
within
see
a joke,
now,
the joke, a point will be driven home.
yeah, but now, Minor, let us put ourselves in a practical situation. You have met with your friends, you're going out somewhere, like just normally. So you will be saying it subtly as you're going, and somebody is going to put himself in shame. You have to tell him, well, you go and tell that.
Also, Ashira, he's not only
Kimani
putting himself in shame, he's also putting you in shame. Yeah?
Maybe Kimani could describe exactly what this person is wearing that will put you to
To
shame.
assume, let's say we are going to say, let's say we're going somewhere in town, yeah? And then I show up in a yellow trouser. What will you say?
I will tell you that, hey, leo umeamua kuwa Mkamba. Yeah, that's what I will tell you. And I'm assuming that the point will be driven home that your choice
Oh,
of dressing is not fit for the occasion.
but I don't think that is well communicated according to me. I'm learning about communication things. That is basically in Kemani's language, lacking the courage to just be be juu sasa ukimwambia amekuwa Mkamba and then he says no, and then he continues. Now what have you exactly helped? So you
I'm
are
very
putting
sure
it in
that
your heart umemsaidia lakini
I'm very sure I know in Kimani that if I were to tell him that, he will go home and change his pants. So sometimes you
but this
understand
Kemani
how you talk
why do
how you talk to
okay.
your friend. There are certain friends who you talk to subtly, and there are certain friends who you talk to directly. Not everyone you go and tell that. There's someone who will tell you that that's the worst I've seen you wearing, and that to them is very brute, it's very direct. So you find a way of telling them, even though not
Okay.
so direct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I get you. I get you. So there are different kinds of people. I've had Kemani describing his friends. Yeah. Maybe I can also ask you mine as we're also wrapping up. Just explain to us, because now you're saying, even the what you have said last year is like there are some people who you deal differently with. So it means you have like a wide array types of friends. So maybe you can just explain, maybe tell us what characteristics za mabeshte zako. You see, maybe I was hearing some people saying at the place where we are, Collins, is that it's like when you hear him or her describing the friends, it's like they're the same. You get like marafiki wake wako na like similar characteristics. So maybe Maina, you can also define to us as we are wrapping up.
First of all, I think the thing that stands out is my friends are people who can think for themselves and of themselves. They are not people who take everything for the truth. There are people who can question. So there's that sort of intellect, because there are people I'd want to interact with, and I'd not want to interact with people who, when I'm having discussions with, they lack the ability to participate in the discussions. So first of all, they have to be able to think, and then I also like having friends who have some form of ambition, who want to make something from themselves and for themselves. Someone who envision a future beyond just themselves, someone who wants to become something in future. And then something I also value in my friends is someone who is empathetic. Empathetic in a sense that I look very keenly at the way my friends interact with other people. So I never want to be friends with someone who is, for example, rude to a waiter, rude to a watchman. Yeah, and then someone who is humane, someone who's kind, someone who I can trust. Yeah, I was almost forgetting that aspect of trust. Someone who I can trust to have my back, and then lastly, someone who I'm sure in a time of need will stand out for me. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Uh, So Collins, okay, I haven't gotten that. Sorry, I think I haven't understood you quite well. I think you've talked about what you like to see or have in your friends. I was talking like the friends that you already have, like describing it, because I've had Kemani like sort of describing wengine they use logic. Wengine why did you even use the yellow? Okay, Wakamba Collins. Okay, let's
I think
just
my friends embody all of that. There's something within that I can find within my friends. Even
uh,
if not all, it's something that I can find within my friends.
ah. So therefore, do you think I don't know how I'll put that question is I read somewhere. This one is true. I read. Um, not that I've been saying that the other things that I read are lies. I'm saying I read this. This I've not thought of. I read somewhere that friendship is among the most important relationship that exists. So I don't know, Mina, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with that, or you don't? What are your thoughts, Mina?
And I agree completely with that. I think I not want to add much to that, but friendships are very important and beneficial. You know, they say no man is an island. So I don't think you can survive this life without friends. Much as we would like to think we are independent, you cannot live without your friends.
Good, good. Thank you, Mina, for that. Kemani, as we're wrapping up, I also read somewhere this one, both of them I read that for you to have a good friend, you must be a good friend.
I like everything about that statement, mostly because when Collins was defining his um, his characteristics of a friend, which in another setup I would call the utilities you would want to find in a friend. He described trust, he described mutual support, showing up for someone. He also described, I think I mentioned trust. I think the point that he forgot to mention was, in addition to wanting your friends to embody that, being willing to portray the same to your friends. Yeah, the aspect of reciprocity. Yeah, I've heard Washira mention many times that he says that friendship do not exist without a measure of reciprocity. Yeah, I think I should have.
No. I say this, Kimani, you're so close.
Yes,
There is no relationship that
yes, yes.
exists without a measure of
Of
reciprocity.
reciprocity. Yes.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
measure of being that reciprocity. It is whatever it is that you want your friends to embody, being willing to offer the same to a friend. So yes, for you to have a good friend, you must be a good friend. That completely makes sense. It is a close knit relationship. And if I might comment on, I saw Jeff asking about the three of us, asking whether we've told each other that we miss him. You see, Jeff, we are intelligent people. This is what intelligent, yeah. So when I tell Washira and Maina that I love them and I miss them, any layman might interpret that the way they want, but both of them understand whatever it is that I'm saying. I'm simply recognizing that they are my friends and appreciate them for being my friends. But if someone chooses to interpret that as they might, then they are free to do that, because that message was not theirs anyway. I was just
Do you even tell your friends that they are your friends? You even tell them. Unajua unasikianga watu wakisema ati you are in a relationship na niwe peke yako unajua hivyo. Or you remember when you were in primary, you say this is my so and so is my best friend, and then he says a different person.
I saw someone making a joke about that, saying that he was saying that the first girlfriend that broke up with them, he alimwacha because when they were in nursery school, because she left them for a guy with a new pencil, a big sharpener, and it was very funny. It was just adding to Washira's point of and I think I've seen that mentioned at some point in the comments. Someone being a friend to someone, but that person not being a friend to you. What that signifies is the lack of reciprocity that I'm talking about. There should be that reciprocity and also the courage that I'm saying of stating exactly whatever it is that you want. Yeah, if what it is okay to, according to me at least, it is okay to work from friends that you're not getting whatever it is that you want to get from, at least if you're offering whatever it is that you believe you should offer. And those are my closing remarks, that friendship have utility. Friendship require a measure of reciprocity, and we should have the courage to state exactly what we want in friends, to offer the same, and to walk away if whatever it is that we expect from them we are no longer getting.
Okay. Thank you, Kimani. I hope, Jeff, you have gotten your answer. Kimani has not confirmed or denied whether he communicates. Haya, Maina, as we are wrapping up, tukifunga hii, what are your final remarks and also anything you'd like to share with us as we close?
Yeah, Kimani finds it hard to even say good night. When Kimani leaves kesho. Wanaume don't tell each other good night. But yeah, that's how things are. But I think that said, we as men should learn to be affectionate in a way, because you're told an African man has to be strong. There are certain things you can't do. You can't cry. But those are outdated practices. We need to teach ourselves that when you tell your friends you love them, it's not a measure of does not make you feminine, or it does not make you less of a man. It's just expressing your emotions. In fact, it makes you, to me, more of a man, because you're able to state what you feel. And for us, we might not have been indoctrinated into that culture of telling our friends we love them, especially African men. But the generation that is going to come after us, how I wish that we could tell them that as a man, you can also be affectionate and tell your friends that you love them. And then apart from that, there's also
Colin,
something
before you say what you have to say, why is it starting with the next generation and we are alive and we are here? We are the current generation.
I've said how I hope we, and then after that I said this
Oh,
was not taught to us, but I hope we can teach it to the next generation.
good.
And then another thing that I've noticed is that uh, we have learned to glorify having a small circle of friends, or what we could call best friends. It's not bad because you know there are people who they'll support you no matter what, but it reaches a point in time where you must have that large number of friends. So in still glorifying this small number of friendships, let us learn not to break the bonds and say that if this has happened, they're no longer my friend. Let's just learn to maintain these relationships no matter the distance and no matter the time. And then, just like I said when I was starting, Washira Speaks is not just a YouTube channel. We have an entire catalog of services. For this week, we wanted to make you aware of our leadership training service. So this has been done in partnership with Giant. We have an entire uh, collection of resources will teach you things like the leadership voices, will teach you things like the nemesis voices, will teach you how to handle these strong characters within a group, will teach you how to handle the people who might not be as loud within the group you're leading. So we'll basically teach you to become a leader worth following. And then we also do training on public speaking. So if you're somewhere you'd want to speak out in public, but you lack the courage, or you've not been trained on how to speak to people in public, we also do that for you. If you want to access any of our services, you can reach out to us through any of our social media platforms or through our website. So yeah, apart from that, I hope you guys have a good night, and thank you guys for coming and sharing your thoughts. It has been a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, it has been indeed a very interesting conversation. I can see Jeff Miner say that friendship is the hardest thing in the world to explain. It is not something you learn in school, but if you haven't learned the meaning of friendship, you really haven't learned anything. Hey, that wisdom that man is eliciting.
Jeff Nishi.
Tell, tell Jeff to close that chat GPT tab.
Jeff, funga hiyo chat GPT, funga hiyo Google. Wewe tunakujua. Anyway, I think that has been good. It has been a good conversation to talk about friendships with friends. I think that has been good. And we have also gotten to hear I've also gotten to hear my friends' different types of friendships, a different understanding. Okay. So, as Collins has said, we also do so many other things apart from these YouTube shows. And today we are talking about leadership. We train people in leadership skills. And if you want to know more about that, you can go to www.washiraspeaks.com. And from there, you can get all information that you like to know about us. Even for ladies who you think you can be bestie with these guys, just go there, you reach out to me, and I'll give you their number. So apart from that, I want to thank you guys so much in a special manner, Kimani and Mina, for coming today and having this awesome conversation, and everybody who watches live and everybody who's going to watch us later. Thank you very much for always watching us. Namkumbuke, kindly subscribe, also share to a friend so that they can also be part of these conversations. This coming Sunday, we're going to have a state of the continent. So if you want to know what is happening in the continent, you be tuned on Sunday from 8 p.m. Jeff is answering, anasema ati ChatGPT uniconsult before iwapee majibu. Okay. So let me give that to you. So my name is Mutaliwa Shirawanyaga. Iside Gerarasia Mubi Muburi. Thayo. Good night.
Oh no! I'm lost! Where's the line? It just went away. What do I do? Help! We'll be stuck here forever.
Do not panic! Do not panic! We are trained professionals! Now stay calm. We are going around the leaf.
Around the leaf? I don't think we can do that.
Oh, nonsense. This is nothing compared to the twig of 93. That's it. That's it. Good. You're doing great. There you go. There you go. Watch my eyes. Don't look away. And here's the line again.
Thank you, Mr.